Alright, guys, welcome to another video today. I'm a little bit burned up. You're gonna see why, because I waited so much for this setup and it ended up being a green day. So what I'm gonna show you today is how I made money today and how I lost money yesterday. So it's gonna be a lot of setups and a lot of different, how can I say it, lectures. So here's the, of course, verified tracker. I can even refresh it, trade of it. You can see that yesterday I lost 4.9k, today made 5.4k, so basically just 1 hours. And yeah, let's just move this out of the way and let me show you what I executed. So for today, we can go just, first of all, we can just go back to the, I don't know, daily time frame. So what do we have on the daily time frame? Even on the weekly time frame. So I never showed weekly time frame before. But today weekly time frame, oh my god. But today weekly time frame is very important. Why? Because we swept a weekly low and tapped into a weekly fair value gap. So that's, I don't know guys, if that isn't bullish confluence, I don't know what is. But just overall weekly very bullish. You can also see us rejecting, which is exactly what I thought. So bullish from the weekly time frame. Then if we go down to the daily time frame, if it's gonna let me load up on the daily time frame, just literally the same thing, reacting out of these fair value gaps, swept liquidity, and yeah, we just made this high. We have these two highs, not really reacting from any bearish fair value gaps, but just made a sweep and reacted from this, so also bullish. So for right now, we're just bullish overall. On the 4-hour time frame, it's just basically the same thing. We don't look at this candle because that just happened, like literally after the session. So what do we have? We just have also a sweep of liquidity. My drawn liquidity was low of this fair value gap, so this is not liquidity, but this is just this huge fair value gap. Oh my god, huge fair value gaps. That is like I think like 500 points, 600 points. So a huge fair value gap that I just want to see retested though. So this is my biggest drawn liquidity. Then if you go to hourly fair value gap, same thing, inversed this fair value gap. What means inversed? We just closed above it, so it's no longer a valid fair value gap. We just disrespected it, swept to the downside, made kind of manipulation leg, and yeah, just overall bullish too, because I also want to see a retest of this fair value gap above. So yeah, just overall really bullish. Before today's session, what happened in the market? That actually was not the best thing, but it happened. If we go to, I don't know, just at the beginning of the session, if we look at basically indicators, which is, bro, I'm so burned up. So if you look at session highs and lows, you guys can see that we swept Asia high and low, which is like best confluence in the market for targeting, and we just swept it before even session started. So they kind of took me off. They kind of took off some kind of, how can I say, confidence in basically going to the upside. But then if we look to the 15-minute time frame, we can see that after we took it, we left this huge fair value gap right here, and all I wanted to see was some kind of retracement into a 15-minute fair value gap, and then of course just a reaction to the upside, because we are overall very bullish on the daily, on the 4-hour, and everything. So yeah, we just have this fair value gap. I marked out this low because that's an important low. When we sweep it, we know that we want to take longs. Then if we go to the 5 minutes, nothing too important right here. We just have like this fair value gap that really doesn't matter that much, honestly, because I'm not willing to long from this small remaining fair value gap. But I truly want to see a sweep of this low down here for us to actually get into some kind of longs. And if we go then to the session market open, let's go, that's about here, and let's go to the 1 minute. Let's go over everything. So we want to have here is ES, so we want to have ES because we want to look at everything happening on the ES. So if we go to the right now to the market open, which was right here, I'm gonna look like we're gonna look over all the SMTs, everything, every confluence that happened in the market. So let's see. So market open is in 5 minutes. We had 9:45 news, so that's just important thing. In 9:45, spikes can happen in the market. So let's see what happened. We pushed to the upside, swept some of these liquidity points. Then after that, we pushed to the downside. So what we did, you can see we pushed to the downside. What happened right here? Right here happened actually one opportunity. So you can see, look at this. When we push to the downside, come on, push to the downside. That happened right here. So we, come on, one more candle. We had this push to the downside. What happened with this push? So I told you guys that I want to see sweep of 15-minute low, a tap into the 15-minute fair value gap. And what actually happened was, as you can see, this low right here is the same low as this one right here, which is the 15-minute low. And you can see that we actually made an SMT, so you can see same lows. So we made an SMT right here. For me personally, that wasn't that big of a confluence, since I just wanted to see NQ actually do it, because that would just be much more clear to me. So I actually didn't take this setup. And you can see right here, after we closed this, if you would have to put our stop loss somewhere right here, target something to the upside, I'm going to turn off the indicator, this setup would just fail. Honestly, could have taken this setup, but I was just missing that some kind of, how would I say, just a little bit more confluence, which was an actual sweep, not just an SMT of New York, of this low 15-minute right here on the ES, on the NQ, sorry. And yeah, we did not have that, so I did not take this loss, which is fortunate. Yeah, so I did not take that one, but there was a possibility of taking it. Then what happened after that? We went to the downside and we actually had that sweep right here. So you can see sweep. What did we have after that? We had a banger 1 minute setup that actually stopped me out at break even. So let's find 1 minute right here. Look at this, guys. This is truly important because a lot of people did not see this, but 90% of the times this is just gonna pump, and today it didn't, but I'm gonna show you exactly my thought process behind this one. So if we skip one more candle to the upside, look at this candle, and now the actual part where a lot of people get confused is we did not inverse this fair value gap on the 1 minute chart, and we had, is it gonna load? And we had 2 minute fair value gap right here, which was a small fair value gap. So you guys tell me, if you guys see on the 2 minute this small fair value gap right here at the bottom, and us making this huge move to the upside, and the confluence that made me enter the trade was that the same fair value gap on the ES, because you guys know I always look at an ES compared to NQ. On the ES we had a perfect inversion, so NQ just barely didn't close, ES perfectly closed above it, so that was enough for me to enter the trade. Got a banger fill, so it filled me right here. As you can see, this is my actual how it filled me. I got into a trade, of course, on the closure, got filled right here, perfect fill. What market did was retrace and did a good 2 minute closure. This is honestly something I wasn't expecting. I was expecting market to just straight off pump to the upside. So my stop loss, as you can see, was at the bottom of this fair value gap. And yeah, basically my break-even point, if we go to the 5 minute time frame, you can see that we have this fair value gap that was quite unclosed at the moment. So you can see if you go back to the 1 minute, wait, I'm gonna do this. So you can see this is the part of the fair value gap that we basically like left open. I don't know how I still say it. Like we only closed the first part of this fair value gap, and then after that we had this upper part which never actually inversed. So that was my break-even point, and that was especially my break-even point when we made this retrace, because what the market actually did right here, made a push to the upside, retrace to the downside, and then this becomes my new break-even point right here. So when the market actually did this, I went break-even, and you can see that the market actually went to the upside, went all the way up to here, actually came back, actually stopped me. Unfortunately, I went back to actually one risk reward, and that's just unfortunate, a normal break even. Then next play, which was again another break even point, we came again to the downside. A little something that I didn't quite like was this right here, that we just swept this high and straight off reverse, because what I wanted to see from the market was us actually just pumping. My time frames are not working. What I wanted to see from the market is straight after this, I just wanted to see market pump towards, of course, draw on liquidity, which is 1 hour and 4 hour fair value gaps, as you can see, which is exactly what the market is doing right now. So let's just go back to the 1 minute. Oh my god, market actually played out. So what happened right now? If we open 1 minute, if the Wi-Fi is gonna let us do that, and if you look at the lows in the market, you can see that this low right here, actually this one and this one, had a valid SMT. So you can see right here we had an SMT. So that was another very good entry. And why did I long when we already took all the liquidity? Because I was just so bullish, because I knew that end of the day is going to be up there in that fair value gap. And that is just purely my experience, that I seen this so many times when we just opted into the weekly fair value gap, and we want to see some kind of retrace in a logical fair value gap to the upside, because there is nothing holding us back from going into that fair value gap. So what do we have? We had I don't even remember, I think it was 2-minute time frame perfectly inversed. There wasn't any 3-minute time frame, so 2-minute time frame perfect closure. Not the most beautiful fill, but it's what it is. And what the market actually did was it went to the upside and took out break-even point. My break-even point was actually this fair value gap right here. I just wanted to see this fair value gap. We also, I think, came so close. Yeah, we also just came so close to this one, and you can see that my break-even point quite literally just saved me from a loss. So that's why I just go so strictly on my break-even points, because they are always just so logical, and that's why it saves me more time than it doesn't. So that's why I like it. So after that, what we did was quite literally dump to the downside, and there was a lot of opportunities to the upside, but I didn't like that we failed this setup. And then why would I take any other setups? Then we had this setup right here, basically made an equal highs right here, which means it took that high, went back to break even, then to the upside, but we were just dumping it. That's it. And what I liked about this slow dumping, which was not just dumping, but we just slowly retraced. You can even see that we did this for the whole time. It wasn't just as yesterday this. I like that we were just getting all this liquidity stacks, so highs above highs above highs, and I just like that so much, because you're gonna see later on what happened. After that, you can see on the 15-minute time frame, we just came so close to actually inversing the 15-minute to the downside, but we actually didn't, and that's the thing that I like. So look at this, almost inverse the 15-minute time frame. Then after that, after we almost inversed it, we were still bearish until this low down here. And I just know that if we come so close to this main low down here and not actually sweep it, like this is very likely to be like today's session low, because why would the market stall right here and make this rejection to the upside right here? And what the next candle showed me is that we tried to go to the upside, but then what happened? We tried to go to the downside, but still failed. So that just kept me like, yeah, like we are still probably bullish until we actually go to this 1 hour fair value gap up there, which I was just so confident in, because if market was bearish right now, like full on bearish, we would just dump to the downside. Like the market wouldn't care, because look what happened yesterday. Market just didn't care. Market was just dumping, and that's the point. Market was just bearish. But today market is making quite reactions from all the like liquidities, all the fair value gaps. You can also see first rejections from the 15-minute fair value gap. And then what happened is it was 1 minute time frame, I think. I like this. So oh my god, guys, sorry. We did this sweep, tried to go to the upside, stalled, made quite literally 2 new highs to the upside. So this high, this high. What then happened is we had this setup. So look at this, guys. It was on the 2-minute time frame. I actually, like, if I were to take it, so why didn't I take this setup? Because I was just missing that something. And honestly, if I were to take it, it would be a decent setup. I wouldn't be mad on myself, but I just didn't want to take something that is not just perfect. And if you were to target like this higher 1-to-1, you can see that it went to the upside, to the downside, and actually didn't play out. And after that, what happened? So we made this high. So we made like 6 highs to the upside, and that's just so much liquidity stacked up right here. And why I like this next trade, because this trade did not just fail, because if this inversed and then just did this, like, we are just truly bearish, market doesn't want to do it. But since I saw that market actually inversed the 2-minute and 3-minute fair value gap, made a move to the upside, but was just so close to taking out this high right here, and then it reversed, I just knew that these liquidities right here, which is like a little low resistance liquidity, I knew that market is just gonna smash them. So what I looked at is some kind of really safe trade, because I saw that market, oh my god, I saw that market is coming so close to it, but it's just missing that little bit of something. So what happened right here in the market, we retraced into the 1-minute fair value gap, and look at the rejection, just perfect. And look at this, this is just, if this isn't, this is the same candle that happened right here on the first break even that actually won. Like, we just saw this same thing happened right here. We just got that huge spike to the upside, stop loss below the fair value gap, and you can just see it beautifully skyrocket to the upside. My break-even point was this right here, and you can just see us hitting that one-to-one point perfectly, and you can see us going to the upside. And what is going to happen, and what actually happened in the market, because I just knew it, we are going to sweep all of those highs. So all of these highs are now swept, and we are very likely to go for that, that we are just literally tapping into. So, like, a really good session for today, 1 hour for me. And what I'm actually going to show you right now is yesterday's session, which was this session right here. So it's going to be these two setups. I'm going to show you why I took them and how I lost. So let's just go into it. So I'm going to go to, I don't know, 50-minute time frame. We are going to go to yesterday's session. It was right here. So, oh my god, start new one, and let's go to right here. We're gonna go to 5 minutes. If we like analyze the session right now, what do we have? So on the 9:30, what we did is we just swept all the highs to the upside. On the hourly time frame, what we did is, so this was inside of session, so we had this high right here that was untaken in the session at the beginning of the session. So you can see session, oh my god, it was not actually, wait, is it the same high I'm looking at? Wait, let me just, oh yeah, I was on the charts before the market even opened, but I wanted to see this trade so much. And what actually happened? So NQ actually took this setup right here. Where is the normal line? NQ took this setup. So this was yesterday, so I gotta just remember everything. So we took this high up here. I was bullish until this high, and what I actually wanted to see for this session was us going all the way up to here, and here was huge daily fair value gap, and this was the daily high, and I actually wanted to see that. But since I saw a rejection from this point, I just switched my bias. I said that if we actually just do not blast through this area, like, we are just going to probably end up in some shorts. And you can also see one more fair value gap up here. And I'm going to show you on the ES what sparked shorts inside me the most. So let's see on the 5-minute chart. Market open is about to happen, and you can see what happened. So we came to the downside. We retested some of these fair value gaps, spiked to the upside, and then, oh my god, I forgot everything. The first loss. Wait, it wasn't. It was good. All right. So basically, we retested all the fair value gaps. We reacted to the upside. Then what happened is, when we took this high up here, look at this. I want to show you guys what the ES actually did. So I just want to go, let's say, on the 15-minute time frame, and let's go to what the ES did. So look at this. This is gonna be huge confluence. Can I, like, oh my god, I can't. I'm gonna go to hourly time frame, because that's when it happened. So with this push right here, what ES actually did is it took the high that we previously took on the NQ in the pre-session, and we retested this fair value gap. So finally, ES managed to break this high and retest the fair value gap, and we got a reaction from it. And literally on the ES, we retested the fair value gap, this one, when we just broke the high. And what I wanted to see, without any kind of like strong convictions was some kind of short-term shorts, and I took this short. And what is the wrong thing I looked about these shorts were basically that we don't have that strong of a target. So drawn liquidity is to the upside. So as I said, guys, I'm going to even show you that this is drawn liquidity BPR with a wick inside of it. So this is a huge drawn liquidity that was for me, and I wanted to kind of see that hit in the end of the session. And what actually we got was some kind of shorts, and let's go to that time frame, which is right here. I want to show you what ES did, because that's very important, and that's why this trade lost, because we didn't have such a powerful drawn liquidity to the downside. We did not have that sort of perfect something to target. And what the ES actually did is, I'm going to show you, oh my god, this is going to be a long ass scroll. Alright, what ES did is, ES did not, so this is the same fair value gap as on the ES. Look at this, same place, same fair value gap as on the ES. So these two are same fair value gaps. ES did not inverse the fair value gap, and NQ did. And I entered the trade with not strong bias, and I honestly shouldn't have entered this trade, because if the ES inversed it too, then it's a great trade, because we have both confluences from this one and this one, and the bias is not the most perfect, but it's clean trade. Like, we did sweep, we had a delivery, we had everything. But since the ES did not inverse, it like very poorly closed inside it. Yeah, this setup just ended up going to the stop loss, and then second one was long towards basically these highs that I took, and that was break even. So let's see how they played out. So I don't even remember, I think they were on like, yeah, I think they were on like 5 minutes or 3 minutes, sort of 5-minute longs. Also NQ did not inverse, but same thing as I was telling you guys, ES inverse. I like to take ES into consideration a lot. So with this setup, I went break even below the wick, target a 1-to-1. I would have gotten out here, which is completely fine, but you can see that we just barely didn't close it, and ES closed it. So I like to just take into consideration ES a lot, and ended up going break even. Oh my god, and as you can see, it went to the upside and then came back to the downside. So it's just unfortunate, normal break even play, and I was pretty happy with it. And ended that day in -1R, and today was in +1 RR. So I'm hot as hell, and this was hard session, hard recap to hold for you guys, because I was on the charts for like 3 hours watching and nothing, and then took a win. So right now I'm about to go to gym, and I hope you guys learned something, because this was quite technical analysis. And yep, I'm just gonna see you in the next one, guys. Peace.